All right, so welcome everyone to this live group meditation, community meditation practice. I am Bhante Warpanyo. I am the American Buddhist monk who hosts these sessions regularly. So we regularly have these gatherings with the intention to practice meditation, to train the mind, to alleviate suffering, and to establish and develop, cultivate peace, freedom, joy. We come here hopefully with the intention to give up attachment and to practice detachment. That is to be willing to give up whatever we happen to become aware of at this moment or at any given moment. So today we are going to have a meditation practice, a meditation period. But I'm curious if anyone here is new, if this is your first time for anyone, if you could just kind of say hello, introduce yourself, and maybe say about your experience level with meditation. How experienced are you? And what kind of meditation you have experience with.
Um, guess I can. My name is Kevin. I'm 31. You can just call me 11. I'm the guy who has been writing on YouTube. You Filmmate.
Oh,
I've been following you for like I think a year. One of my friends he shared your link, and once in a while I've been coming to the meetings and watching your YouTube videos to meditate. So I've been doing it on and off for a year or something.
okay, great. Glad that you're taking this step to show up and be here in this meeting. You know, meditation is all about intimacy and facing and being with and kind of being vulnerable. And one of the major supporting factors in me to develop in my practice and my path was being face to face with other people who had more experience than me. So this Discord is meant to facilitate that, you know? And it's nice because it's not a Zoom meeting. It's not like you get a link to a Zoom meeting where you there's a time and then you show up and you have a meeting and then it's closed. But here, this is just like the gathering hall, the space where we come together and meet and share our voice and our video. But the meeting doesn't end. You know, it's just like a meditation center or an online spiritual community that we have continuously through the Discord. And sometimes there are technical difficulties, but that's all right. The difficulties and the adversity that we face in meditation is exactly what brings us benefit from meditation. If you have the idea that meditation, not you personally, Levin, but if anyone has the idea that what you're going to get out of meditation is a peaceful, vibed out, chill state, then you can leave the call now because that's not what you're going to experience. And my intention, my interest here is not to give you a one off, vibed out, rhythmic experience. It is to invite you to really get involved in a meditation practice and a way of living that is meditative and is founded on mindfulness, detachment, and doing good deeds continuously, not just an experience. All right, so is anyone else here new? First time joining one of the meetings? No, everybody's a old head. Yeah, I see everyone looks familiar. What about Kyle and Pink Danger Noodle? You want to say hello, Pink Danger Noodle? Introduce yourself a little bit. How about you've got to unmute your mic? How about Kyle? Can you unmute your mic, Kyle? First time and excited to learn. Great, Kyle. I'm excited that you're here. I'm glad that you're here. Okay. So we're going to get started with our meditation practice today. And the first step in that meditation practice is to touch and connect with the fact that you are actually interested in meditation. You didn't wander in here because you thought there was going to be cheeseburgers here, vegan or otherwise, but you really came here because you want to meditate, you want to train the mind. So kind of find that intentionality in yourself and take a deep breath and connect with that you really want to show up and practice meditation. It's not surface level, it's not vague. This is really what you want to do. So find that intention to practice. After you find your intention, your sincerity to practice, you can go ahead and find a comfortable, stable meditation position. So I like to sit cross-legged, but you don't need to sit cross-legged. You could simply sit with your feet flat on the ground, sitting in an office chair. You can even lay down, although you're sure to fall asleep. So find that comfortable, stable position where you are not holding the body up, where you're not struggling to hold the body up, and also where your shoulders are back, your chest is open, your stomach is open, everything's kind of open and alert and awake, sitting in this upright way. At that time, you can close your eyes and not to focus on, but start to notice the breath. Start to become aware that breathing is happening. Start to follow the path of the breath. From the very beginning, where it enters your nostrils, flowing all the way down into your neck, your lungs, following the breath all the way down into the stomach. Rather than getting involved in the content of what we are experiencing, the kind of feelings that we're experiencing, invest your energy in this quality of experiencing itself, noticing itself, and following the breath as it flows in through the nose and goes down into the lungs and into the belly. This is just like scaffolding, a supporting structure to look, to be with, to experience, but not to get caught up in the content of that experience, if you like it or don't like it, but instead to touch and connect with experience only, experiencing only. following, feeling the breath as it flows in deeply into the body and flows out. And to do this consistently, we have to really let go of everything in the past and everything in the future. Let the future be the future. Let the past be the past. No involvement, no belief in, no relying on your preferences, your past, your future, your judgments, your likes, your dislikes. Those things will come up, but you don't rely on them. Instead, you rely on feeling, noticing the breath at this moment, at every moment, as it flows in through the nose and goes deep down into the body, down the neck, into the lungs, into the belly. The breath flowing in and out. Experiencing this moment and this breath exactly as it is right now. When we get distracted, when we get worried, when we feel anxiety, we don't need to get rid of that. We don't need to change that. We simply need to allow that feeling, that distraction, that noticing to invite and remind us to return, to continue noticing. And we use our scaffolding, we use our support structure for doing that, which is following the breath as it flows in through the nose, goes deep down, gives us everything that we need, and flows out. It's something to really be interested in, curious about. So give your full attention at this moment to noticing itself, experiencing itself, just breathing and being aware. It's not to meditate for a particular period of time. It's not to make it through. It's just at this moment to detach from meditating for a particular period of time. Detach, let go of this idea of being successful in your life or your practice. It's just at this very moment to feel the breath, to notice the breath as it flows in and flows out. And allow that noticing to expand, to expand from your breath as it flows in deeply to the body. Allow that noticing, that presence of mind to expand into the whole body. Just breathing and being aware of the whole body sitting here. Don't let one particular sensation or feeling move you or direct you. Instead, let every single sensation, thought, reaction, movement remind you to go deeper and deeper into this noticing, this looking, this experiencing. This just following the breath as it flows in and flows out. If we get off track, if we experience difficulty, this is the supporting factor for our sincerity to become more empowered, more deep. Those distractions, sleepiness, practice of just sitting here and following the breath, noticing the breath that's happening as it flows in and flows out. Total simplicity, total no expectation, no goal. It's not to get, it's to give up. So allowing at this moment for the body to just sit here. Just sitting. Every single difficulty and distraction is to be faced with gentleness and a willingness to detach, to let it go. Whatever's happening, simply return at this moment to just breathing, just sitting and being aware. Exchange the preferential mind for the feeling mind. Feel fully and completely what's happening right now. So we need to try our best during meditation to fully drop in, fully allow and be willing to experience the heat, the cold, the pleasant, the unpleasant. But don't get involved in any complicated thinking. Just experience. Just noticing is real. But that which is noticed is not. That which is seen is not. Just breathing. Just seeing. Just noticing. This is the joy and the freedom, not of vibing out, not of listening to a cool song or drinking a cool beer. This is the peace and freedom of detachment. Just sitting, just breathing, just being aware. lean in not only to the sitting, the breathing, the awareness, but lean in to the just breathing, just sitting, just being aware. So at this time, we can begin to slowly move our body from the left to the right. We can open our eyes if they're closed, and we can massage our face and our head and stretch out. Whatever we experience in our meditation is to be detached from, not held on to. What we should bring with us after we practice is the practice, not the experiences that we had during it. So I'm going to read today Eastern Thai forest tradition of Buddhist monasticism, and he's considered to be a very enlightened, accomplished teacher of the past, one of the most enlightened teachers of the past 100 years or so. So, this story from Ajahn.
Excuse me, Bante.
Yeah,
Was that Ajahn Brahm's teacher?
yeah, this is Ajahn Brahm's teacher. That's right.
It's really neat. Thank you.
So, this is about being careful. In a grove of bamboo, the old leaves pile up around the trees. Then they decompose and become fertilizer. But it doesn't look like anything good at all. We were talking about this yesterday. Doing good deeds, doing skillful activities might not be so immediately apparently attractive and pleasant. The old leaves pile up around the trees. Then they decompose and become fertilizer. But it doesn't look like anything good at all. So our meditation practice isn't about looking good. It's about the leaves falling, piling up, decomposing, and becoming fertilizer. It's about everything that we attach to and holding on to fall down and become fertilizer for our peace, for our happiness, for our growth. The Buddha taught to see the body in the body. What does this mean? We are all familiar with the parts of the body, such as hair, nails, teeth, and skin. So how do we see the body in the body? If we recognize all these things as being impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self, that's what is called seeing the body in the body. At that time, it isn't necessary to go into detail and meditate on separate parts. So this is the point. All aspects of your body, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the sexual organs, the skin, the tongue, everything that can give us pleasure and give us pain as well. All aspects of the body are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. That is, no part of the body exists separate from any other part of the body. You have a brain because you have a heart. No heart, no brain. But also that if you look very, very closely, try to find yourself in the body. Where is it? Is yourself, your real, permanent, real, true character self, is it in the heart? Is it in your hair? Is it in your eyes? Is it in your ears? Well, no, certainly not. You can lose your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, hair. You can lose your body, but we call it my body, right? We call it your body. So where are you? Where is this self in the body? The Buddha taught to see the body in the body. What does this mean? We are all familiar with the parts of the body, such as hair, nails, teeth, and skin. So how do we see the body in the body? If we recognize all these things, all aspects of the body as being impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self, that is what is called seeing the body in the body. then it isn't necessary to go into detail and meditate on the separate parts. So seeing the truth in the body of truth in the body. It's like having fruit in a basket. If we have already counted the pieces of fruit, then we know what's there. And when we need to, we can pick up the basket and take it away, and all the pieces come with it. We know the fruit is all there, so we don't have to count it again. We know that this body and mind, this thought, and this anger, and this fear, and this negative thinking, and this greediness, and this bodily sensation, this heartbeat, this anxiety, this depression, is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and doesn't exist separate from the rest of our life. It's just something that comes up. We're hyper-focusing on it as a separate, important thing, so we get all worked up, we get all stressed. But actually, it's not like that. It's just one phenomena that is arising in the face of all phenomena arising and passing away. Nothing to get too excited about, nothing to get too worked up about. So this is seeing the body in the body. We don't have to count it. We don't have to examine it. We don't have to figure it out. We have to see the body in the body. Impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self. Having meditated on all the different parts of the body and recognized them as something not stable or permanent, either through your experience, like through your awareness, your experience of your hand is not stable and permanent. Your idea of your hand might be, it seems to be like, oh yeah, it's my hand, whatever. But the experience of your hand is not stable and not permanent. It's warm, it's cold, you might lose a few fingers. So having meditated on all these different aspects and parts of the body and recognized them, seen clearly them as something not stable or permanent, we no longer need to weary ourselves, separating them and trying to focus and fix and meditate in such detail. This part of the body, that part of the body, this problem, that problem. You don't have to be so detailed. Just as with the basket of fruit, we don't have to dump all the fruit out and count it again and again. But we do carry the basket along to our destination, walking mindfully and carefully, taking care not to stumble and fall. Don't worry about the specifics. Worry about walking mindfully and carefully and compassionately, right? A friendliness. Even if I start feeling anxious or if I start feeling upset, that's a time for me to be friendly and gentle and soft. So don't worry about the specifics. Don't worry about solving the problem. What's this anxiety about? Why is it, Instead, we don't have to dump all the fruit out and count it again and again and go over these things again and again. We know about it. It's not going to satisfy us. It's impermanent. And there's not a self to be found in it. What a joy. How convenient. My goodness. We all must feel lucky that this is the case, right? To detach, to let go, to continue. We don't need to keep dumping the fruits out and counting them all over again because we have some insight. They're impermanent. They're unsatisfactory. All the different aspects of our mind, all the different aspects of the body are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and you cannot find a self in them for sure. So rather than dumping all the details, the fruits, the desires, the fears out, and counting them again and again, carry the basket, carry this seeing the body in the body, carry this body of truth along to our destination. This is the destination to ending suffering, to being at peace, to helping other beings. Carry the basket along to the destination, walking mindfully and carefully. taking care not to stumble and fall. When we see the body in the body, which means we see the Dhamma in the body, the truth in the body, knowing our own and others' bodies as impermanent phenomena, then we don't need detailed explanations. We don't need a personal story. Sitting here, we have mindfulness constantly in control. We're staying with our mindfulness. We're relying on our mindfulness. The point is not that we zone in or zone out and have this vibe deep meditation. The point is that we're sleepy and we have a thought and we have a worry and we get anxious, and we have mindfulness constantly and continuously, and we rely on it, we return to it. That's the practice. That's the wisdom. Sitting here, we have mindfulness constantly in control, knowing things as they are. And the meditation then becomes quite simple. So when we practice meditation, we are developing a relationship with knowing things as they are. That can be a little bit scary, especially at the beginning, can be difficult, but eventually that kind of scariness becomes a kind of openness and a freedom and a gentleness in terms of how we relate to our experience. It becomes a simplicity. That energy of, whoa, this is heavy, this is weird, I'm not in control, becomes, whoa, this is heavy. This is weird. I'm not really in control. It becomes simple. So sitting here, having mindfulness constantly in control, that is, keeping our meditation method at the forefront of what we are relying on moment by moment, knowing things as they are, and meditation then becomes quite simple. It's the same as if we meditate on a word such as Buddho. If we understand what Buddho really is, if we understand what our meditation method really is, then we don't need to repeat the word Buddho. We don't need to repeat instructions for our meditation. We don't need to repeat this kind of hanging on to a meditation method. It means having full knowledge and firm awareness at this moment. This is meditation. In a practical sense, don't be in a hurry to let go of your meditation method. The meditation method is going to protect us, it's going to support us, it is our scaffolding for practice, it is our scaffolding. Scaffolding is like what they build to like if someone is doing work on a home or building something, they build scaffolding so they can stand outside of the building higher and higher to keep working on it from the outside in. So our meditation method is our scaffolding, our support structure for seeing the body in the body, seeing this inherent wisdom, this inherent truth in the body, in our direct experience right now. So don't be in a hurry to get rid of the meditation method. Be in a hurry to return to come back to the meditation method. Focused, mindful, restraining your monkey mind to, oh, I'm meditating, but I want candy. Oh, I'm meditating, but I feel hot. Oh, I'm meditating, but I feel cold. Firm, sincere, mindful, practicing restraint, and caution, careful, detailed. Meditation should be a detailed experience, an intimate experience. Each and every moment you're really looking closely. You're really being with it wholeheartedly. So in this way, everything is teaching us. We simply need to take everything is teaching us. We simply need to take up the responsibility of learning. That is being with everything. That is being with this direct experience right now. That is practicing the meditation method. That is just sitting, just breathing, just being aware. That is just noticing, just following your breath as it flows in and flows out at any given moment, at any given time. And letting any given distraction or difficulty or confusion be a reminder to detach and remember. Just breathing, just being aware. So we practice like this. Does anyone have any questions? Must be someone here to have a question or a comment or sharing experience. Everything is teaching us. That's right. That's the title of the book. But when we hear a certain text or a certain book at a certain time, we feel inspired and we feel interested because we feel that that book is pointing to a way that we can practice and a way that we can deepen. The most important factor in your practicing and deepening is not any one particular book. It's not any one particular person. It is your intention to do good deeds at this moment. It is your intention to practice meditation and then following through with that. So finding your ways, finding your path of showing up to your practice. And in the case of a book, it's not about that particular book. It's about showing up to that book and reading it. Otherwise, the book doesn't mean anything at all. So find that intention, find that sincere interest, find that meaningfulness that you want to bring into your life and pursue it, get involved with it, step into it again and again and again and again. Ideally, continuously, ideally, moment by moment, we are doing actions from this intention to do good, to help, to bring benefit. But until then, simply find those events, find those activities that support you to really take a deep dive into doing good deeds. Practicing meditation, being generous, trying to help other people, cleaning, whatever it might be. You need to get more and more involved in those activities. Okay? And I hope that that book will be one of them to inspire you.
Can you share can you write the name or in the chat?
The book?
Yes.
It's Kevin wrote it. Everything is Teaching Us.
Okay, thank you.
That's the name of the book. Disa has a question that they wrote in the voice text. Disa says, sometimes it can be difficult to be mindful and present in social situations because there is social expectations to be a certain way. Any tips to detach from others' projections? So I would say it's a two-part question. The first part, the answer to the first part is that you can't wait for difficult situations to then understand your responsibility, your level of responsibility to be involved with and take care of your life. At this moment, at any moment, you need to remember your responsibility to do good deeds, to act skillfully, to practice restraint. You have to step into that continuously, especially at those times when you're already somewhat relaxed, somewhat calm, somewhat simple-minded, in a suitable environment. You need to do good deeds. You need to practice meditation. You need to practice mindfulness. You need to practice detachment. You need to practice just sitting and breathing and being aware. This is how you're going to be prepared for those situations. Some situations we're not going to be prepared for, so we have to prepare ourselves now. And that is to be prepared for situations that we are not prepared for. Yes. So, tips to detach from others' projections is don't know. You don't know about that person, right? So if you don't know about that person, how can they know about you? So we need to be willing to recognize that we don't know. You know, we want to be knowers all the time. We want to put our nose into everything. And then when someone else is a knower and sees us and says, "Oh, I know about you. I see you. I see what you're like. I know what you're like." And they're just seeing a projection of their own mind. You're kind of easy to believe in that because you're a knower. They seem to know. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. You get into this friction of believing in other people's projections. What's important is to be comfortable with not knowing. And even in a social situation, when there are pressures, step back. Step back from any experience, especially step back from social situations where it feels like there's some special pressure or obligation, you know. Go outside and take a breath of fresh air and then come back, not with the intention to either reject those standards or that mindset and not to try and follow along with that or to match it, to do it like they do it, but show up with the intention to help in that situation. You're uncomfortable. You feel you don't like it, but still you want to help. This is the kind of intention that's really going to empower you to be skillful in those situations. Okay, I don't like this. I don't want this, but I'm here to help. I want to help out, whatever that might be. And with that intention, you're naturally going to have a sense of independence.
Going back to what you said about detaching to the body, there's something really similar that I heard that I really liked. It was about our teeth. You can feel your teeth in your mouth right now. And if you lost one, there'd be a sense of panic. You even have nightmares about like your teeth falling out from time to time. But we've all lost our teeth before. When we were kids and babies, like, and when the teeth came out, we didn't think to ourselves, "Oh, that's awful." It was just a part of how things happen. Anyways, that's all. Thank you.
Don't lose your teeth, okay? But we should learn to have a gentle teeth, a soft teeth that can chew and bite and tear when necessary. But if our teeth are sharp, we're going to hurt ourselves. And if our teeth are not there, we're only going to be able to eat mush. So don't lose your teeth. Eventually, you're going to lose everything. So don't worry about it too much. Okay. Any final question from anyone?
Yes, excuse me, sorry, I can't talk on mic a lot, but I posted something in the voice text if you would
Okay,
mind
you read
answering that
it.
question.
You can read it.
Okay. So I wondered, what's the goal with just being and sitting while meditating? It's comforting in the moment to detach, but if it's a bit of a metaphysical question,
No,
but what do
no,
we
no, no,
long to?
no.
Is it,
You need
sorry if it's
to
unclear.
you need to stop what you are doing. Just sitting is not about having a nice, relaxing, pleasant experience. It is about stopping what you're doing. It is about stopping the momentum of millions of generations and lifetimes, millions and trillions of moments of you being unskillful, nonsensical, turning away from that which is essential, that which is bringing great benefit to yourself and others, and turning towards TikTok. So when we just sit, it is not to detach for the sake of pleasantness and okay, it is to stop what you are doing. Stop it. Full stop. Every aspect, stop. Stop Disa. Stop Bante. Stop Kit. It's not to be good or bad. It's not to be involved with that. It's just to stop what you're doing right now. And we don't do that by force. We do that by just sitting, just breathing, just being aware. We do that by investing in this process of refreshing and restarting, tilling the soil. We want to till it and till it and till it. We want to refresh that soil so that we can have the most nutrients available to us in which to plant our seeds of doing good deeds. So it's not a surface level practice. It's a practice that is going into the garden of your mind, the garden of reality, and intentionally tilling the soil of all of these effects that have fallen from the causes that you've planted. And that tilling is to break up, to mash up, to disintegrate all of this rotten attachment to effects in your life. Mix it all up in the soil so that your seeds of doing good can develop and grow more and more. Really, it's not a time to focus on any kind of effect. Why do we sit? We sit to just sit. That's the practice. That's what you want to tune into. And if you want to get an answer into, what is the relevance of this, or what is the real practical truth of this, you have to invest in it more and more. You have to really find out what just sitting is, what just enduring is, what just being with what's happening is. And you need to do it a lot. It's just like facing your life fully and completely, without production, without judgment, without self and other, past and future. It is to face reality itself, to till the soil so that your good deeds can take root, and so that you actually see that doing good deeds leads to a good effect. Doing bad deeds leads to a bad effect. But when the soil of your mind, when the soil of the garden of your mind is so barren, so lacking in intimacy, so lacking in attention, so lacking in presence, it just seems like you do this and you do that and different stuff happens and you don't really have any effect on what happens in your life. But things are just happening and you're you're kind of sitting here watching the world swirl around. But when you practice just sitting, when you practice the meditation method, you find out that it is moment by moment you are creating the effects that are going to happen in the future by your actions that you take right now. And you can either have a good, wholesome intention from which you act, or you can have a generally unskillful, selfish intention. And then those are the kind of results that you're going to get. What do you think about this, Disa?
I thought it made a lot of sense. I really appreciate the answer. You taking your time to explain this, even if it might seem simple, but it's a reminder that I think I really needed to hear, because I can get stuck in metaphysical questions and the future, while I have to realize that the future is now. So thank you for my answer.
Simplify, stabilize. Okay? I'm just happy that that answer is helpful to you. And that's it. The future is now. Right? The answer is true if the answer is helpful. Period. So I hope you'll continue with your practice and kind of find your own answer through your own experience of really, investigating this case of the future is now, or, what's really the value in just sitting. And we get more and more into the depth of that practice the more that we practice it. And then you'll find out the answer and you'll share it with us here, I hope. Okay. All right, Phoenix is heading out. And Anastasia has a question. This will be the last question, and then we'll do a little bit of a chant to finish. So Anastasia says, how do you detach when you are placed in a difficult position with a loved one? Sometimes it is difficult to detach when the person placing you in that uncomfortable situation is someone closest to you, like a parent or a child. Detachment is not rejection, and detachment is not callousness. It's not a lack of caring. Detachment is more along the lines of doing only, experiencing only, acting only. You do something to take care, to help, to benefit that being only. What you detach from is your extra thoughts, your extra judgments, your complicatedness that you are adding to the simple, direct human experience of trying to help, trying to take care. And, we have to recognize, for better or for worse, whether we're the best child or the best parent or the worst. We have to recognize that other person is not us. This is appropriation. When we appropriate another person's experience, we are not them. We couldn't be them. Whether we did the very best and we gave all of our effort to take care of them, or whether we did the exact opposite, we are not that person. And it goes from both sides. So this is where the detachment comes in. It's kind of a recognition of the truth about the situation. And even though we have a closeness with someone else, also we are not that person. It doesn't matter how deeply you empathize with, or how much you've read about the experience of a black man or a black woman growing up in the 60s or the 40s in America. Unless you are a black person, you don't know about that. So you don't appropriate another person's experience. And you don't appropriate another person's personhood as being your own, because it's not. So in this way, detachment is about the truth rather than an interpersonal decision that we make about someone. We should try to be sincere and to care, and to try and help, but also to always stay grounded and kind of know where we are at this moment. And that is, in these situations, to be detached. But there can be a fine line with callousness. You know, like if you work a lot in the fields or use your hands a lot, you get a callus, you get a roughness to your hands that you can't really feel sensation there, or you can't be very soft and gentle and tactile with things. So it's not, we don't want to do that. That's not detachment, but it's just a recognition of where we are at this moment and knowing that that is not someone else's experience, and vice versa. And from there, we're more flexible, and we're more safe to do compassionate action, and then to step back and take care of ourselves as well, and then consider again what will serve. You know, how can we help in that situation? And setting boundaries to the degree that you can. And the greatest boundary, or the greatest support for a boundary, is the truth, right? And so that truth really helps us to set a boundary. It's the example. I've been going through something like this recently. I don't know if it's completely touches to what you're going through, Anastasia, but there's a kitten here at the temple meditation center, you know, this place where I'm living right now. And this is a dangerous place in a lot of ways. You know, it's kind of like a homeless shelter and a donation center, and it's just a wild, wild west kind of place. I should do a tour of the place on a YouTube video, and you'll be in shock and awe for sure. You've never seen a meditation center like this. But this kitten, this baby, is so small, so the sweetest animal I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of animals. I got a sweet tooth. I know about sweet stuff. Sweetest animal, baby, kitten that I've ever seen in my life. And it's vulnerable. And it's a mother and one baby. They're taking care of each other. The baby's wandering around. It's got an eye problem, so I'm planning to take it to the vet tomorrow, you know. So when we have that kind of, it's very easy to get attached to that. There's a closeness there, the vulnerability, the preciousness, the need for support. It's very easy to fall into a state of attachment and empathetic overload. So that, oh my gosh, there's this kitten. It's in a dangerous place. It needs to be protected. Okay, I need to bring it in my room. I need to, you know, do this and do that and do this and do that. And okay, you could do that. You can do that. But also, I am not that kitten. And that kitten is subject to birth and death. Period. So I shouldn't be callous about it. Oh, that kitten is subject to birth and death, doesn't need to go to the vet, doesn't need any extra attention, doesn't need any extra care. Not to be callous about it, but to recognize that as much as it is precious and sweet and wonderful, it's a walking corpse. Same with myself. So this is to be detached, but also to take care and not to overload on our empathy with other beings' experiences, because we have to take care of our own experience first. It enables us and allows us to take care of others in a skillful way.
I like what you just shared. I've experienced a lot from people close to me. They have a fear, which I've had as well in my life. But by reading some books and meditating and stuff, I've detached from it completely. And yeah, but some people have a hard time accepting it, that we live to die.
And
How can you help them? How can you help them with accepting it?
in this case, you just need to help yourself. You having it allows you to share your experience of a deeper understanding. Without that experience, you can only share according to what your experience is right now, and that's what you know about. So work to deepen your own experience of birth and death, which is at the core of meditation practice and Buddhist practice. Birth and death, the situation of birth and death, and then as you invest in that, you'll be able to share more deeply about it. But also we can try, it's our intention that is essential. It's our intention to help, it's our intention to serve, to bring benefit, and through failure of acting out that intention, we become skillful in acting out that intention. But it's always the intention, because we can't control someone else's karma. We can't control how someone else is going to act. We can only try to take care and offer our experience, our sincerity, right? So do it like that. All right. So let's finish today with a chant. We're just going to make 3 sadhus. So this word sadhu has the meaning of, it's a traditional Buddhist word, which means excellent, well done, wonderful, good job. And the reason that we chant this word at the end of something like a meditation session is because this is a really wholesome activity, an activity that is worthwhile to celebrate, to appreciate, to lift up, and to share with others, because it's simple and it's not based in getting anything from outside. It's based on finding what we need inside. That is to meditate, to do good deeds, to be mindful, to detach, to be willing to let go. So let's all say this together. Join in as much as you can. It's a nice way to express your practice and your heart with your voice and your body. So you can simply chant along with me. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you all for being here. We'll be having another session in just about 3 hours. We'll have another meditation. So hope to see you there. And until then, till I see you again, be happy, be peaceful, and enjoy your moment. Take care.
Thank you.